Ready, folks?
Spilled all over.
Morning. Welcome to our regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Supervisors. If you would please join me in our flag salute. Will be led this morning by Supervisor Crocker, and remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Take up item number 1, our Board of Supervisor matters. I'll begin with Supervisor Vanderpool, please.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Worthley. Well, I don't know if anybody realized this, but you're now looking at a 34-year-old supervisor.
Good evening, Chris.
Went from 33 to 34 this weekend, so
Getting old.
Getting really old. I know. Thanks, Amy. I'm feeling it. A few things I wanted to go over for this week. I'm still not quite as old as Ennis, so that's good.
Never make it either, probably.
But anyways, today at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, General Service will be having their open house. Congratulations on that new facility. Look forward to seeing the inside. I know that from the outside it looks tremendous, and I know all the work that went into it, and look forward to seeing that previously vacated building back in its new glory. There's a retirement board meeting Wednesday at 8:30. The Alpaugh Fire Station actually is the recipient of a new piece of fire apparatus, and I will have the opportunity to go and check that out on Thursday. I head out there with the chief after my first 5 technical advisory committee meeting, and I will get out there. Look forward to seeing that. I know that will be very welcomed in the community out there. On Thursday in the afternoon, I will be guest lecturing at COS regarding government at all levels, including city, county, state, federal, including. I covered all levels of government. And then Friday, there will be an Ag Ventures golf tournament. That's actually their annual fundraiser, and that program is about spreading ag education and awareness about agriculture and what we really do stand for all school children throughout the county and actually throughout the valley. And it's a wonderful effort and program, and look forward to supporting that. And then on Saturday in Tulare, we actually have an annual event that seems to get bigger and bigger every year, and I always appreciate being involved and being included and getting to see this wonderful event, and that's the NAMI Walk. They do a fantastic job, NAMI of Tulare County, putting on this walk, and I look forward to welcoming everyone to the walk and seeing all the participation and helping to spread awareness about mental illness. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Schuckner.
Yes, last week I attended the RCRC conference, which is Rural County Representatives of California. They had some very good sessions that I attended. It's always a nice opportunity to meet and network with other supervisors from rural counties. One session that really stood out to me was there was one about safe and sound schools, and the presenter was a mother whose child was tragically killed in the Sandy Hook shootings, and now she has made it her life's purpose, so to say, to go around and talk about safe schools. A lot of people have taken the anti-gun route, and she's turned it into, let's look at our schools and what we can do, how we plan and how we set up schools to make them more safe so things like this don't happen. So it was a very good session. On Sunday, I attended the Friendship House, Visalia Friendship House Jubilee. It's their 70th anniversary. The Friendship House was purchased, obviously, 70 years ago, and they have since been the home for Girl Scout troops for Visalia. A very safe place for these troops to meet, so they had a nice little gathering there. I also will be at the General Services open house. After that, I will be attending the Visalia Property Owners Association. What else do we have going on? Thursday, I will be at the Tulare County Economic Development Committee meeting, and on Friday, I will be calling in to the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority meeting, and I also will be at the NAMI Walk. So, see you there.
Look forward to our race.
My car is fast, so look out. for a hybrid, it's
Talk to
fast.
Supervisor Sheet about how to run a race. Okay, Supervisor Crocker.
Last week I had a conference call with the public lands, some of the members of NACO's Public Lands Steering Committee, and specifically we were speaking with Senate leadership, Senate staff, the U.S. Senate, regarding getting a fix for secure rural schools funding. Currently, the funding is one of the many federal programs that is part of the appropriations process, and so it's somewhat used as a football as far as who wants to garner favor is depending on how much funding is provided, and so there's a bipartisan effort. Senator from Oregon and Idaho are working together on trying to provide a trust fund that would have an initial capitalization and then utilize the funds for that for annual appropriations to western states that get funds with the SRS dollars. So it seems very positive. I don't know that there's anything anticipated in the next few months. We'll see in the lame duck session of Congress if there's opportunities to move that. Otherwise, it may be the following year. But that would be beneficial for us. I think most of our SRS dollars helps with some of our rural roads. There's pretty broad uses for SRS funds. And I think that's a majority of counties utilize those dollars in that capacity. So that was very positive. I also attended RCRC's board meeting. I agree that that was a very powerful session. Hearing from a parent that had to go through that and and it was powerful. I don't know that there were many dry eyes in that room, about 200. So outside of that, on the business side of RCRC's board meeting, we took no policy position on daylight savings time, which is on the November ballot, but we did discuss it just because there was a thought that there may be a lot of questions that we may get from constituents, and so being able to be prepared as far as the ramifications of what it means, and so even though I think when we understand and realize all of the serious issues that really doesn't rise to the occasion as far as I'm concerned, and I think the rest of the board felt that way. The one position we did take, there were a couple other no positions that we took, but the one position we did take last Friday was on working. There was a court decision that changed and altered ambulance overtime, and so we did take a support position for that proposition to try and help us, reduce costs and make sure that we have flexibility. One of the comments that another board member made was that they have 2.5 hour drive in between parts of their county to the nearest hospital, and that would essentially eliminate some of the staging areas as far as where ambulance are stationed, so that they would be closer to communities and medical facilities. And it's really, it would be unfortunate if that didn't pass. So that was something that we took of note. I'll let Supervisor Ennis talk about the Sierra View Gala that we attended on Saturday night, but I do want to just mention that I had the opportunity to chit-chat with Sierra View Hospital's CEO. She's a local Strathmore High grad, and I don't know if you have any affiliation with her or not, but we had a very fruitful conversation discussing their interest in continuing to try and provide a clinic for Strathmore, so that those discussions are going to be ongoing, as well as just some of the other options and needs that they have as a hospital. We've discussed at this board the need for a vibrant hospital in Tulare, and I think with Cahuilla Delta and Sierra View, it's very important that all three are functioning highly and providing health care for our county.
Supervisor Ennis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I too am very, stand behind these clinics and trying to get more of them out, especially in our rural areas. I know Family Healthcare has a clinic there in Strathmore, but this one would be right out on the highway, Sierra Views, and so continue to work with them and try to help them get that thing put in place. Yeah, I did go to the gala Saturday night with Supervisor Crocker was there. Also, past Supervisor Alanashita was there. He sat at our table. And Supervisor-elect Dennis Townsend, he was the MC, did a good job. It was quite an event. We had, of course, Mitch and Liz Brown. Mitch has the rock plant there in town, and him and his wife danced, and they won the dance contest between 4 different couples. So it was quite a nice evening. I enjoyed the RCRC conference too, and I think I agree with the other 2 supervisors, with Amy and Mr. Crocker, that school safety was a very moving situation. And I don't know how the gal does it. I really don't. I don't know how she gets up and talks, but she does, and she does a good job. And the pictures and everything they had was quite phenomenal. Monday I'll have my Success Dam remediation and spillway meeting at Lower Tule at 9 o'clock on Monday, and hopefully trying to determine how we can move that project forward. They keep wanting to drag their feet for 3 or 4 years. We need to get this thing done. We've waited long enough, so we'll be trying to figure out ways to get that moved forward. But that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Shuckins says she needs one more
Sorry,
bite at the
I
apple.
apologize. Actually, at this moment right now at the convention center, our Step Up Youth Challenge Summit is going on, and that's where dozens of middle and high schools throughout Tulare County are taking place in this kickoff, which is a precursor to the next school year. And what they will be doing is planning and implementing a community service project throughout the school year, and that'll culminate into, usually in May, we have the Red Carpet Awards, where they will be given awards for the work that they've done in their community. So just want to let folks know about that.
Last week, I was at an air board retreat at Bass Lake, and a couple of things I wanted to bring up. One was our mission statement, which we revisit every year. And one of the things we're going to include is providing context for people. At any given time, people will engage in air quality, and they have no idea of what's happened before. And so they'll come to a meeting, and a public meeting, or they'll show up at one of our meetings, and they'll pound the gavel and say, we've got to do something about cleaning up the air, not realizing that the air is about 80 to 85% better today than it was 25 years ago. And so it seems to us it's important to provide context so people understand that a lot of work has gone into the process, a lot of improvement has been realized, and yes, we have a long ways to go. But believe me, folks, I shared with them, I said, I wish my kids could have been raised with the air quality that we have today, when they, especially my older children that are close to the age of Supervisor Vanderpool.
Dennis? Oh.
Yeah, no. But anyway, so, just because people can make themselves sick, honestly, psychosomatically. You can just convince yourself you're dying of air quality because people keep telling you how bad the air quality is, and that's just not appropriate. We need to really let people know the reality of how things are and how much things have improved. Another thing that came up was about forest management, and of course, SB 901, I think it was signed by the governor, which is all great news, providing funding for forest management, $200 million a year for the next 5 years, $1 billion. But we have got to get the federal government engaged, because 51% of California is owned by the federal government, 65% of the forest lands are controlled by the federal government. And it just seems to be too much of a silo effect and trying to get the federal government to move has been very difficult. When the Air District met in Washington, D.C. last spring, out of that came an action plan to try to meet with the regional forester and the supervisors who represent the various forests that surround the San Joaquin Valley. And to this date, we've not been able to get a date to meet with the regional forester. That is just not acceptable. And so Kyler and I are going to try to meet with our local supervisor, who's new on the Sequoia, we've got to move. We've got to move this project forward, and there's money available, and there's resources beyond money. There's a lot of studies have been done by the Forest Service about proper management, about fuel reduction, about grazing and harvesting timber, and all these things that could be brought together to make a difference. And we need to be doing that, but it just seems like it's very, very difficult to get the federal ship to begin to turn. So anyway, we will continue to work on that. This Saturday is a national event in Dinuba, the National Raisin Festival. Annual event always brings in a lot of people to the community, and would like to invite you. I think Supervisor-elect Valero will be on the county fire engine. For the first time in 40 years, I will actually be out of town at a wedding that I have to attend, and so he's going to step in and be the new supervisor and wave at people as he goes by. So that's all I have, and at this time we will take up presentation given by Human Resources Development for the new Live Health Online Kiosk Services and the update on the County Health Fair. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning, Chairman Worthley, members of the board, CIO Mr. Spada, and Council Ms. Peterson. I'm Rhonda Schustrom, Human Resources Director, and with me today is Lupe Garza, our Employee Benefits and Wellness Manager. So we're going to start out, we're going to do a twofer today. So we're going to start out giving a little update about our County Health Fair, which will occur on this Thursday, and it will be our 10th year of having health fair for our county employees. Our focus this year is on financial wellness, and we're tying that to, we see that as an integral part of overall health and wellness. And we are offering several breakout sessions and workshops that we hope to encourage employees to come to. We're hoping to help educate our employees, maybe take some of the stress away from having to make financial decisions, and also helping to give them some information that might have some long-lasting results and some positive outcomes. So our breakout sessions will be covering anything from living with a realistic budget to helping with credit education, and will be given from our Loans at Work vendor, to saving for retirement, which will be with our defined contribution representatives, as well as we will have about 50 vendors with booths giving information to our employees, and also demonstrations. We will have the Zumba dancing again, and the sheriff's K-9 units, which is very popular, as well as we will be showing the sheriff's lip sync videos and also the K-9 video. And then, of course, employees can get their free flu shots provided through our Health and Human Services Agency. We will have chair massages, glucose testing, blood pressure testing, and lots of other things for our employees to gather information. And of course, they can enroll online there at the health fair for our benefits, which kick off, our open enrollment season kicks off with the health fair and will go through the month of October. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Lupe Garza, who's going to talk a little bit about something new that we are going to be offering at the health fair, and that we are also kind of unveiling for the county. And it's our Live Health Online Kiosk.
Morning, Lupe.
Good morning, Board. Good morning, CEO, County Council. Lupe Garza, as Rhonda mentioned. Before I start talking about the kiosk, I wanted to provide you with a little overview on what Live Health Online is. In August of this year, the counties of Tulare and Fresno both received 2 kiosks to place at their work sites for employees to use for online healthcare services. What is Live Health Online? Although some employees have used it since 2013, we have probably about 200 employees that have used or accessed this service. but we know that many, many more employees don't know or aren't aware of what this program entails. So I wanted to give a little overview of what it means or what it is. Life Health Online brings the doctors to you. Life Health Online lets you interact with a board-certified doctor using live two-way video on your computer or mobile device anywhere with an internet connection. It's convenient. It's a convenient way for you to talk with and get treatment from a doctor in your state using the internet via video, phone, or instant messaging. No appointment is needed. You can get care and advice from a doctor from your home, office, or anywhere you have a connection. It's a secure, private, easy-to-use, and affordable service. It doesn't replace going to seeing a doctor in person, but there are so many times when juggling work and family responsibilities just doesn't leave any time to get needed care. And seeing a real doctor can offer a peace of mind and eliminate having to guess whether a condition is serious enough to take time out of your day or use up valuable vacation time and going to see a doctor at his office. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And you can see it for conditions such as flu, minor rashes, sore throat, pink eye, allergies, colds, fevers, skin infections, headaches, and other illnesses considered minor, not a major illness. The other options that just became available within this past year are psychology, psychiatry, and allergy. And the reason why they're separate is because if they ask you specific questions when you register online, and the difference between the psychiatrist is that the psychiatrist you see using Life Health Online can prescribe medication, help manage any medication you might be taking for a behavioral health condition. A therapist is a mental health professional who has at least a master's degree in the field but does not need a PhD or MD to practice therapy. And they also cannot diagnose or write prescriptions. Now, what does it cost? The cost for using Life Health Online is $49. That's the max. There are no hidden fees, no other costs. Depending on the plan that you are enrolled in, you simply pay your copay. When you register or log in, you enter a form of payment, whether it's debit card, MasterCard, Visa, or other form of payment. So to give you an example of using Life Health Online versus going to a doctor's office. So for example, if you are enrolled in the $500 deductible plan, your copay is $35. And so using Life Health Online, the visit's $49, you pay your $35 at the time of visit, and the difference is $15, so that is billed to the SJVIA, and SJVIA pays that claim. Now, going to a doctor's office for the same illness, a cold, and you're enrolled in the same plan, the office visits vary from $100 to $350, and I took a $250 average, and the employee pays their copay of $35, but the balance of $215, that gets billed to SJVA claims. So if we have that employee or family members or several people going to the doctor's office visit throughout the year for a cold, well, then the plan is experiencing $215 claims each time.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes.
So if you're on the $500 deductible plan, do you not have to exceed your $500 deductible before you start actually, or is it still just a copay
No.
of $35?
Anytime you see a doctor, anytime you see a doctor in his office, you only pay your copay.
Okay.
The deductible only comes to play if you have something major happen, like you have to go to the hospital, or you have a CAT scan, or break your leg, or something like that.
But then I would like to make another point, and that's to follow. I don't know, maybe you cover it later on, but the idea here is when we look at our insurance premiums, they are entirely dependent upon the claims. And so when you're pointing out the difference here of a $15 claim versus a $215 claim, what you're doing is helping yourselves as employees because the smaller the claims amount is, the smaller is going to be your increase on your insurance, and perhaps no increase on your insurance. But so it's valuable because some people say, well, that's not in my pocket. Well, it is indirectly in your pocket, because what you're paying in insurance is going to be dependent upon ways we can find to keep our costs down. And you can see this is a great example of a $200 savings every time somebody goes to the doctor. So
Right.
it's a wonderful program.
Right. So as an employer, the benefits to adding Life Health Online, when employees don't have to take long lunch hours to drive, in addition to the cost, they don't have to drive to doctor's offices and wait to be seen. They may be able to maintain better health and better hours at the same time. That could help with the employee morale and avoid absenteeism due to illnesses. But like you mentioned, as far as healthcare costs, we may see savings since the cost of life health is less than the traditional doctor's visits. In the long term, that does affect our claims and future premiums. So the steps are very simple. You log in, create an account, choose a doctor, and start your consultation. It really is that simple. To register, it takes maybe 2 minutes at the most to go in there and register and sign in and create an account. And the options for you using Life Health Online right now are either a laptop or computer that has a webcam and internet access. You can also use Life Health Online using your mobile device, a smartphone. There are 2 apps you can download. Go to the App Store, download the Life Health Online app, and use your doctor. Talk to the doctor through Life Health Online using your phone from anywhere. The computer and your mobile device, you can use medical, psychiatry, allergy, and psychologists. But this one, the new benefit, you cannot use those 3. It doesn't have access yet. You can only use the medical piece of it on the kiosk. And this is the new option. This is the kiosk that we were talking about. It's right now it's located at Human Resources and Development. At the time that we had to make a decision on where it was going to be located, we had to decide where to put it.
Can you bring the kiosk for Supervisor Worthley?
We had to decide where to put it, and at that time there were so many moves going on with Health and Human Services and other departments that we needed to make a decision. So because it requires somebody to come out, inspect our connectivity, our room, make sure it was HIPAA compliant, and this is at this point the best location for us to do. It is a pilot program, and it is being monitored and reviewed for the next 3 to 6 months. It's located right now in an empty private office. As you can see, this is a real picture of the office. So there's a door, it has a door window. The window is high enough to where people cannot see in. So if you have to show the doctor a rash on your upper body or something, nobody can see into the window while you're showing the doctor or having your consultation with the physician.
I really like the fact that you have sanitary wipes right there next to it so that we can keep the kiosk clean. That's great.
And we do have procedures in place. So when we start using this, and we have people will be going in there in it before and after, making sure everything's wiped down and clean. But the individual is also asked to wipe the machine before and after the use. Just like when you go to the gym, you go and use the elliptical machine. You're not going to go on there without wiping it before. At least I don't. I wipe it down before I use it, and then I wipe it down again after I finish using it. So,
It's an elliptical machine.
Yeah, just say.
The life, like I mentioned, it's located in a private office in Human Resources and Development. It is a HIPAA compliant room. It's been reviewed and approved. We do have instructions there by the kiosk as to how to use it. It's equipped with a high definition touchscreen monitor, a USB webcam, speakerphone, wireless card. Let me go back. The speakerphone is because if you don't want, if you really are just really that private and don't want somebody else hearing your conversation through the walls, you can pick up the phone, a receiver, and have that conversation just with the doctor, and nobody else can hear the conversation. There's a wireless card for you to swipe your debit card, credit card for the form of payment, as well as your driver's license. So when you're registering, if you swipe your driver's license, it picks up your information from there, and you don't have to go in there and key it in. If you don't have it available, then you have to go in and key in all your personal information. There are hand sanitizer dispensers, disinfectant wipes, driver's license reader, and credit card reader. It also comes equipped with a thermometer, blood pressure cuff, dermoscope, and weight scale. Now, when you go in and register because you want to see a doctor, you can, if you have a fever or whatever it may be, it's going to ask you if you want to write down your temperature, if you want to write down your blood pressure. So you can do all that at the beginning, or you can skip that part of it and just wait till your consultation with the doctor. And if he asks for your blood pressure, then at that point, you can take your blood pressure and then provide him or her with the information.
I was going to say this is a good thing because you don't have to weigh yourself, but now I see there's going to be a scale there. So
There is.
maybe not.
And
We'll just do it from home.
You're behind
We'll
closed
just do it
doors,
from
though,
home.
You can't cheat, Amy. I mean, it's
That's
possible.
true.
And the blood pressure cuff, you don't have to be logged into a Life Health Online to take your blood pressure. If you're feeling that you have any symptoms of high blood pressure, you can come in and access and take your blood pressure at the time and see where it's at, and then determine at that point whether you want to see the doctor or not. I was going to point out on the dermoscope, didn't know exactly what it was for, but if you're going in there for a rash, then this provides clear pictures for the doctor to see what type of rash or whatever it is that he or she wants to look at on your body, if it's on your body. That's what it looks like. This is somewhat similar to the model that we have. And as I mentioned, this is a pilot program that we're monitoring for the next 3 to 6 months. Future locations may include Government Plaza in Visalia and Porterville, Professional Development Center, and other locations to be determined. Anthem is trying to find us another kiosk similar to the one we have right now. The one we have is a refurbished kiosk. A new one would cost $20,000, but we have one for a lot less because it is refurbished and it was paid through the Anthem Wellness Funds provided by, SJVIA Wellness Funds provided by Anthem Wellness Program. Now, we are, as Rhonda mentioned, we're promoting this at the health fair. We would like for employees to register, because if you register in advance, it saves you time for when you're actually ill, and you have a headache or whatever it may be. You don't have time, don't want to sit there and enter all of your information. Once you have an account created, you just log in, enter your email address and password, and then you're in, pick your doctor, and your consultation starts right away. So we're encouraging employees to go to the health fair, register there, either by going to the Anthem Life Health booth or downloading the app on their mobile device that day and taking it to their booth and showing them that you registered that day. And then for everyone that does it, we'll receive a $5 Starbucks gift card from Life Health Online.
Down payment on a coffee.
A flyer will be given out to everyone. We'll have this flyer, and we'll also email it and have it available there at the health fair. Any questions?
Any questions, members? Comments?
I'll just make a comment. We had an opportunity over when we were at HR for some interviews here in the last few weeks to actually see the kiosk, and it is a very user-friendly format, and I really do hope that the more that people are aware of this for those minor incidents that they would normally go to a doctor that would obviously cost the San Joaquin Valley Insurance Authority, cost the county and our employees money, that they can help save a little bit of money and then also enjoy the convenience of going to a doctor without having to wait and getting a prescription by visiting HR rather than having to go through the whole process of missing work for an appointment and going through what they would normally have done. So I think it's a great effort. It's outside the box. Hopefully we'll get a lot of interest and see this pay dividends.
I do want to make another note or comment. This, the Life Health Online is available to anyone, whether you have Anthem Blue Cross plan or not. So it's not just limited to us, but the kiosk is truly only for county employees. So if you don't have insurance, if you're uninsured, or you don't have your children on your health plan, you can still utilize the service, but you pay the max fee of $49.
Very good, thank you. Anything else? Oh, I'm sorry, Supervisor.
No, that's
Checker.
okay. I think it's a good thing because, right now, especially with Tulare Hospital out of service, and hopefully that'll be going back, I know the ERs are inundated, and, the urgent cares close at typically 8 o'clock. So if you're at home on a Friday night and it's 10 o'clock, you're not feeling well, you don't want to go to the ER because you'll be there probably the whole weekend. So I think this is a good opportunity for folks to be able to be at home on a weekend and get the care that they need. Now, if they need medications, will the doctor fax something to a local pharmacy?
I didn't mention that. Yes.
Come on.
I know. Actually, yes. They, if you do need a prescription, when you're registering, it asks you what pharmacy you want to have a prescription sent to, and they do it electronically. They won't send you a copy of the prescription, but they will send it electronically to whatever pharmacy you select. So that is one benefit. Also, another benefit of using Life Health Online.
And then also, remember, the kiosk, do they have to check in at HR and say, I'm going to go in and use the kiosk? Is that what happens? And then afterwards, is there a staff member that goes in and does all the wipe down of the thermometer and all of that?
Yeah, so we do have procedures in place because of it is HIPAA compliant. There are a lot of there's PHI involved, so we can't ask certain questions. So the front desk knows if the employee goes in, asks for the Life Health Online, that's all they have to say. If it's available, they'll be walked over to the room, and the door's closed. The sign says that it's in use. Employee has their service and then walks out. That's it. No questions asked. But there are procedures in place for the staff to follow, and employee does have to sign in so that we know that that the room is being used.
Thank you.
Supervisor Crocker?
So, two questions. One, getting additional kiosks is determined on whether or not we can find cost-effective kiosks. Is that what I heard correctly?
Yes, as well as whether we can find money to pay for the kiosks. We're looking at through SJVIA and our wellness funds, and we're strongly recommending that we use those funds to purchase some other kiosks, as well as we have some county funds that might be available to use for purchasing additional kiosks should this, through the pilot program, should we show that employees are using and utilizing this service and that it would be beneficial, especially for some of our outlying areas.
And so the next question is, how do we determine success? How do we know, are 2 people, is that good? Or is it 400? We're saying, how do we verify and we say this is a good program that's working well? What does that look like?
Well, this has been available since 2013, and since then we've had maybe 200 employees that have used the service.
On the phone or computer?
Yeah, phone or computer. The kiosk, this is new, but the Life Health Online has been available using phone, laptop, computer for 4 years now, and anything above 228 people is, I think, success, because truly our claims are only $15, or maybe we only have to pay. I think the most we have to pay is our highest our $1,000 deductible plan. It's a $45 copay, so the plan will only have to pay $4 the most.
But I think he's asking about the kiosk itself, because there's no cost involved with what the computer online program necessarily, but there is the cost if we had to acquire additional. These machines are $20,000 a piece, so that's a different question about how many do you have to really make that make sense.
Yes, we'll be looking at that data. Tulare and Fresno are the first in California through all of the Anthem providers to have this new equipment. They have been using it in some other Midwestern states. So we don't have a lot to benchmark against for success. But obviously the utilization is going to be key to this. And the number of employees who use it and are able to, obtain service as well as reduce the number of hours and the time away from their job. we promoted this last week at the Personnel Directors Association that I went to in Lodi, and there was great interest from the suburban and the rural counties who have to drive an hour and a half for an employee to go see a doctor, and where there's limited doctors, as well as, the issue of that you brought up about, the hospitals, ER being inundated. Our walk-in clinics are also impacted by this. So we're going to be taking a look at and asking our anthem provider, as well as our consultants, asking them to give us some benchmark goals, and I think data that we would look at in whether this is successful or not.
Well, so not a question, but then a comment. I think it's very logical. We know preventative maintenance works. We know that preventative health care works. So I don't necessarily doubt that this is a valued option for us and that's something we should pursue. But the comment I would make is that we should have some type of finite quantitative data that says this is our break-even point. This is where we know it makes sense financially because we're having more people utilizing this program than going to an ER. So what is that, from a dollars and cents standpoint, what does that look like so that we can say this is saving us X number of dollars because we've implemented this. This is helping, keep our county family, healthier by whatever degree or something. So.
Supervisor Ennis, you have anything?
No, I think it's a good program because nobody likes going to a doctor's office even when you got an appointment because you usually sit there for an hour. So, no, good program.
Well, I think another thing is education is key to this thing because I remember we had one of our employees come to I guess it might have been to our insurance authority meeting, talking about what she thought the deductible was by going to the emergency room. Did not realize that there was the emergency room, then there was the doctor's bill, and when she got through with all of the expenses, it was a major expense to that individual and to her family, and she had not anticipated that. So I think the more people are educated to the fact that this can be a tremendous savings to them. You've mentioned that time, economy, convenience, but just out-of-pocket dollars, this is going to save them money. I think you'll see more people utilizing it. But it really needs to be, and I appreciate you bringing it here today, promoted, like what we're doing today, and health fair promotion and education to our employees about how they can save themselves money. And we know that healthcare costs are a big issue for all families. So I agree with what Supervisor Crocker said. There is a magic number there, but really the issue is we should just continue to grow this thing because we have 5,000. We have 5,000 slots in our county for employees. At any given time, we're going to have 4,500 people that work for this county. That's a lot of people, and a big chunk of them are going to be in our insurance. And so we need to make sure we can do everything we possible to get them aware of this program, the benefits to them, the savings to them, the savings to the county, the savings to their insurance premiums, and promote this because it really is a great asset.
And it takes a minute to sign up on.
And currently, we are only offering it for employees. Mostly we need to kind of go through the protocols and see what it would mean to have, should we have family members or small children's come through the office. We had the office where it was and where we have to locate it before we had the kiosk. So it's not the most ideal situation, especially if you were bringing in small children. But we could see ourselves expanding and allowing anybody on the plans to utilize it. And as Lupe said, currently others that are not on our SJVIA plan could use it, such as our TCCA members and our DSA members. They would just have to pay their copay.
Mr. Chair, I would just make the one last comment about what Supervisor Crocker said. I think that analysis has to take place if we look at expanding this and getting additional kiosks. But right now, we're still using just a pilot, and it's already paid for with SJVIA funds. But when the ask does come for county funds to expand and grow to additional locations, I think that's when we need that kind of analysis.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We will now take up our public comments period, and I have a request from former Supervisor Alan Ishida to speak. And of course, you're not limited if you didn't fill out a card during the public comment period, but I just wanted to make that announcement while Supervisor Ishida. We had this conversation the other day. What do you call a former supervisor? Is he still Supervisor Ishida? Retired? I guess we could just call you Alan. Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Alan, you look younger in retirement.
I agree.
Except for my hair.
It hasn't gotten any grayer.
Well, it's a pleasure to address the board from this side of the podium. And it's taken me over a year and a half to step back into these chambers. The last time I was here is when Supervisor Crocker took my place as a supervisor for District 1. I get asked frequently, do I miss being a supervisor? And I generally say, no, I do not, except for a couple exceptions. One's closed session, where I could express myself freely. And the other is the friends and the people I've worked with over the years, the employees of Tulare County. I do miss that. I don't miss the work, but I do miss the people. The reason I'm here today is because I'm not sure when you're in semi-retired where you're going to be. I wanted to come here to give my respect to Mr. Spada. Mr. Spada has spent years with Tulare County. He was an attorney, an assistant CAO, an RMA director, and finally our CAO. While being an RMA director, I remember when I was the chairman of the board and I said, Tulare County is open for business. Mr. Spada took that to heart, and he directed the agency, and the agency moved to a position that we are probably the easiest county to be permitted and had zone changes to allow businesses to move in our county. We're highly competitive. The other part was that he firmly understands finances. And because of his work on CEQA, which really opened up businesses being able to come in and not wait forever to get a decision from the board, that has helped tremendously Tulare County. You know, it took me 2 years on the board, sitting on the board, to understand what a CAO did. Because most of us, or at that time, I'm not accusing you of that, had limited experience with a CAO, and it just took a while to understand what the job of a CAO was. And it probably took me longer to really understand how difficult that job is. And I learned that after the light went on probably after 3 or 4 years as a result of all the closed session meetings we had, and everything filters back through the CAO. You may have elected officials as a sheriff, your DA, your auditor controller, but technically every one of those employees are employees of Tulare County. They may work for the electeds, but they are employees of Tulare County, and when issues arrive, they come back to the board and they go through the CAO. So you have a multifaceted responsibility being a CAO to put that together, bring it to the board, and that's a lot of stress because nothing ever works perfectly when you have 4,500 employees. So I just wanted to be here to say thank you, Mr. Spada, for your distinguished service, and may your retirement be as happy as mine.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate that. Are there any other public comments this morning? All right, we will move to our... Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Come on forward. Oh, fire too. Yes, and come on forward. Yes, please. Yeah. If you give us your name and address, please.
Yes. My name is Lucy Hernandez, and I'm from the West Goshen community. I've been living in that community for the past 12 years. I've been representing my community for the past 10 years. I attend meetings that I can because I've been trying to better our community. We had been having this problem with one resident in our community that has been getting out of hand. We've been harassed by the Sheriff Department, by the Tulare County. We had meetings with the Board of Supervisors, with the Sheriff Department, the Tulare County, and it's like every time we have a different lieutenant, we have to go through the same process again because they need to see it for themselves. So the reason I'm here today is because we are exhausted already. We need a solution. We cannot be having a whole community living in fear because of one resident that has been racist towards our community, because our community is, most of us are farm workers, people that work in dairies, people that work hard to support their families. The time that they have to spend with their families just to have a gathering, it's invading his privacy because it bothers him to have people in our homes. For the past month, I had this in my side of my fence, cameras in my side of my fence from him. We called the Sheriff Department to try to make a report. They said that they can't do anything, their hands are tied, that I needed to hire a lawyer. If I need to hire a lawyer to have this problem solved, because this is invading my privacy and my family privacy, and if this is not invading our privacy, I would like to have an explanation of what is invading our privacy, because this is ridiculous and this shouldn't be happening. Our community is a united community. We've been trying very hard to better our community, and this is unacceptable. I need you guys to find a solution towards this, because I've been advised if I need to hire a lawyer, it's going to cost me thousands of dollars, and I'm not going to go after him because he's broke. I'm going to go after the Sheriff Department and your department because I've been harassed by the Tulare County. They call me on the phone, and this is unacceptable, and you guys need to find a solution for this.
My name is Melinda Matheny. I'm a resident also of West Goshen. We live actually on the same property. My husband and I recently moved out into the ranch, away from the city, in an enclosed, humongous yard that is, extremely large to be safer for my girls. For us, we're fortunate enough that our husbands go to work. So when we're at home, it's us and 3 little girls, and we're always being watched. There's cameras everywhere.
7.
Everywhere. And we have chickens. I can't walk out to feed my chickens. I can't let my daughters walk to their nana's house where we paved our own cement and sidewalks. Not only that, this harassment has come to the point, and the reason why we're here specifically is because we have come to every kind of community meeting. We've had meetings with you, Supervisor Worthley. You probably recognize us. I don't know for sure if you do. But we have received letters representing county officials, representing the Sheriff's Department, saying that they're working with ICE agents to come out. Our community members, it's not just us, it's an entire community. We had a meeting last night just recently trying to figure out how to, because he goes out, he gets in his vehicle, he parks in front of people's homes. He tries to instigate altercations, and we are doing our best to be above board. We are doing our best to be civil. But at what point are people going to be held accountable? Because this county official, we had an event where we hosted a candidate, and it's our right to do so. We don't have a problem with anybody having a different opinion than us. That's fine. You're allowed to do what you want to do, but so are we. We're not bothering people. We didn't have loudspeakers. We had nothing. We had an event where we hosted a candidate at our home, and 2 days later, a county official called us on county time telling us false information, continuously telling people that they need permits and charging us for money that we don't have to waste on permits that we're not supposed to need. And when we request a refund, we're told we can't get a refund when we should have never spent money on this stuff in the first place. Okay. And nobody is being held accountable. And this official called my mother-in-law, told her, hey, why are you having events? You can't do this. You need special permits. You need special. And we inquired and inquired and inquired. And we're told that's not the case. So
okay,
there's
if you
no
could wrap up your
disciplinary action being held. I understand that we have other time.
Your
but-
time is up, right?
Okay,
And
but-
I was going to say, if you want to leave your picture with our clerk, we don't take any action on items in public comment. It's not agendized.
No, that's-
But we will certainly pass your information on to the sheriff's office and to the appropriate departments, and they can take a look at it.
I just want to say that this has been for years, and he's been using a lot of public funding for this, which it's been hundreds, maybe thousands of reports that he has made, and nobody has ever been prosecuted. Nobody has ever been and had to even show up to court. So this is just waste of money that could be used for something else for our families. Our children need something. This shouldn't be happening.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You want to leave the picture with the clerk that you were? Thank you. Okay, Charlie, I think you're up. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a little tardy off my game. I was at a long-term Pixley Town Hall meeting last night that went till about 9:20. But it was fun. Everything left, we're in good shape. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mr. Spada, Ms. Peterson. Just wanted to bring up that next month is breast cancer, looking at my 3 minutes, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. See what spending 3 hours in Pixley does to me?
I think you need that live health online right now.
And here it is. We've all been affected by breast cancer. My mother-in-law is a breast cancer survivor. You can't look at anywhere in your family tree where you haven't seen some incidents of breast cancer. And I think the Professional Firefighters Association has done a great job with the Pink Shirt fundraising. Last year, they raised $2,000. $1,500 of that went to the Lost Girls Foundation at Cuyah Delta for under 40 uninsured females to do preventative maintenance, mammography, as well as donating $500 to a spouse of a department member for some experimental research. Great job, and just another affiliation with MDA, March of Dimes, and other things that the association does to better the community. So we do have some pink shirts. This time I'd like to introduce Hank Seguin, our president.
Morning.
Hi,
Hank.
good morning.
Morning.
We're here again. We were here last year. It was very successful. I'll just give you a little update about last year's. I didn't realize how many locations the county has. We took it upon ourselves to say we will deliver. I spent many hours driving from point A to point B. So this year we've kind of revamped it again. We still have it on our website, our local website, and then on our Facebook page where people can log on. That's kind of one of the best ways for it because they can pay for it, we can get it done. And we've chosen, Eric's got the list here, we've chosen some locations. It's going to be our headquarters on Acres, our Station 15 in Lindsay, Station 19 in West Porterville, Station 25 in Tulare, Mooney Grove Government Plaza. We're hoping for sure, we haven't talked to Rhonda yet, but we want to put it over at the HR department for things. So our goal there is as they come on, we'll collect them. About every 2 days we'll deliver them, and that's where the employees can pick them up. We're quite happy with the success of it, how the county, the citizens of the county have done that for us and contributed to that. So again, we just want to thank you for your support, and if you could get the word out for us, it really made a difference. We went, I think the first year we only gave $500. That's all we could come up, and this year it just boomed. So we're going to try and double it. We have 300 shirts that we purchased. We'll probably midway try and hit it again, get another order in there, which is kind of thing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Hank.
Thank you.
And appreciate
brought
the
some
work
shirts
by the volunteers for doing this. It's fabulous.
We bought some shirts for you to contribute, and if we could get a picture with you maybe a little later. And
Sure.
Chief
Yeah,
and
if you
stuff.
want to hang around, we'll be glad to do that.
Muscle
All right,
shirt.
thank you very much.
All right, thank you. At this time, we will take up our consent calendar, items 4 through 23. Other items that members wish to handle separately or comment on?
I'd like to pull 21 for comment or question.
Okay. You want to ask the question now?
I can, yeah. So it's somewhat unrelated to the item requested. It's not specifically about the contract extension, but I know that there's an RFP going that's being negotiated with cities of Visalia, Tulare, and County of Kings. I'm just wondering if the plan for the new vendor will be that all 4 entities will be using the same vendor.
So yes, Reed Schenke with the Resource Management Agency. We are negotiating the contract with a transit operator. Those 4 entities that you mentioned are negotiating separately, but because there are some economies of scale and some, coordination opportunities, that is taken into consideration.
So separate negotiations, but still same vendor.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. That's it.
Any other comments or questions?
If there's nothing further and no items to be corrected or pulled by members of the public, I'd move for approval, Mr. Chair.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor, what's your name? Vanderpool, Supervisor Shuck. And just before we do take the vote, I wanted to just comment on item 23, which was receiving a grant award from the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District on a heavy-duty engine replacement program of $151,000. I mention this because initially this was brought to us without having sought that assistance from the Air District, and so I encourage anybody in our county, whether you're the road department, whether you're solid waste, anybody that's looking to replace equipment that can have a beneficial impact on our air quality, we always want to check with the Air District to see if there's opportunities to partner with them, because these are public funds which come from a much larger span than the county of Tulare. They come from federal EPA. They come from the state of California, from CARB, different sources. So whenever we can access these funds, it just means we don't have to do as much of our general fund obligation. So I want to thank the solid waste for having done this, gone through this process, and gotten this money. Okay, please cast your votes, and the votes are unanimous. Okay, we'll now take up our untimed items. Item 24 is a request from General Services Agency to open, examine, and declare sealed bids for the lease of 16,046 square feet of space in the Tulare Hillman Health Center located at 1062 South K Street, Tulare. And at this time, we will have a presentation by Mr. Newby.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Spada, Peterson. I am Robert Newby. I am the property manager in the General Services Agency. This matter is to consider sealed proposals and oral bids for the lease of 16,046 square feet of space in the county's Tulare Hillman Health Center located at 1062 South K in Tulare. On August 28th, your board declared its intent to lease the property, and a notice of intent was published pursuant to Government Code Section 6063. Field proposals were due yesterday at 5 p.m., and through a reliable source, I understand that the clerk has received one sealed bid. Bidders will have the opportunity to provide oral bids this morning. After reading and hearing all of the bids today, staff will review and evaluate submitted proposals and return to the board on October 2nd with a recommendation. And with that, I will hand it back to the chairman.
Thank you. And at this time, I will open. We have received one written bid. I have the envelope here in front of me.
The Oscar goes to.
I know, it's pretty exciting.
Don't pull a Harvey.
Okay, so this is a bid from Family Healthcare Network, and it is, the proposal includes a $1.20 per square foot per month base rent, a 7-year initial term, and lessee improvements of $1,100,000 or more. When factored into the square foot per month rate, the lessee improvements equal an additional 82 cents per square foot per month, making the proposal worth approximately $2.02 per square foot per month. So we have the company, we have this proposed square footage, and we have the proposed term, which was 7 years. Any additional information you need?
Oh, I think that'll work.
Okay, at this time, then I will open up the any oral bids. Does anybody in the audience today wish to make an oral bid? It would need to be 5% over this bid in order to be an effective bid. Is there anyone wishing to do so here today? Seeing none, we will close it. And now I would ask for a motion to refer this bid back to the GSA staff and directing staff to return to the board October 2nd with a proposed successful bid.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Shuckman, second by Supervisor Crocker. Please cast your votes. Votes are unanimous. And thank you, Robert. Thank you to Family Healthcare Network. We will now move to our next untimed item, 25. Receive a presentation from the General Services Agency regarding public art displays at county buildings and the Mooney Grove Park Lily Pond Art Project. Good morning.
Morning. Give us just a minute. We're having some technical difficulties of the screen showing up black.
All right, well, you're having I have a question for Rhonda. Rhonda, I just saw it says that you have to register at the day of the health fair for the $5 Starbucks gift card. So I missed out because I just registered online for Live Health?
Yes.
There you go.
Unregister and re-register.
Unregister and re-register.
I'll just register under a different name.
Maybe one of your fellow
Just like I have a lot of
supervisors,
aliases, so I'll just use one of those.
one of the fellow supervisors might register and give you their card.
I look around. You think Vanderpool's going to give up a Starbucks card? He'll stock in Starbucks.
Are we ready to go, guys?
No control.
What'd she say?
Thank you for registering.
With a small voice. Patches.
Shh. We're going to have vet care online next. Oh, I like Brooke, you have your script right there.
I do, so you
That's
can
right.
see my
Who wants to read it?
Like this?
Okay.
Yeah, it's stuck.
Okay. Well, good morning. Sorry about the wait there. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Spada, and Ms. Peterson. I'm Brooke Sisk, General Services Agency Assistant Director. And with me today is Ampelio Mejia Perez, the General Manager of the Arts Consortium. And we are here to give a presentation on public art displays at county buildings and the Mooney Grove Lily Pond Art Project. So during his State of the County address in January, Chairman Worthley drew attention to the need to continuously improve the appearance of county-owned buildings. To further this initiative, GSA staff met with the Arts Consortium to explore possibilities for art partnerships. And the Arts Consortium is the official arts council for Tulare County, and they have a well-established network of local artists. During these discussions, we identified several opportunities to improve the appearance of county facilities through the installation of public art. Some possibilities include dedicated wall space or cases to display rotating exhibits of locally created artwork, murals, or permanent installations. Staff and the Arts Consortium would like to develop a formal program concept to be approved by the board later this year, and this will guide the county's public art initiative and could establish a fixed funding amount. As part of the initiative, we propose 4 county-owned facilities to display visual art in the public areas and to install hanging hardware that allows for regular rotation of these exhibits. And these facilities include Government Plaza, the CAO and Board Office, HR&D, and Burrell Plaza, the new facility for General Services Agency. And these locations were selected as they receive regular visitors and have space for the displays. So now transitioning to the Mooney Grove Park Lily Pond project. And this is the first collaborative project between the county and the Arts Consortium. And we presented this first to your board back in July regarding a call for proposals by the Arts Consortium to design, create, and install a public art project to repurpose the currently non-functional lily pond and fountain at Mooney Grove Park. This project will give us the insight as to what can realistically be expected going forward with future art projects. So just a little background on the lily pond. Historically, it was a popular feature at Mooney Grove, which included water lilies, fish, and a fountain. Due to the need for repairs and the high cost of ongoing maintenance, the pond now sits empty and in a state of disrepair. We explored a spectrum of alternatives from full restoration, which is both practically and economically unfeasible, to demolition, which has been strongly opposed by many local residents. Therefore, in an effort to avoid demolition of the structure and honor its history, the concept of an art installation was proposed as a compromise. Now I'm going to turn it over to Ampelio, who will go over the requirements and objectives that were requested in the call for proposals for this project, and he will also present the top 3 submissions and the local artists involved.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
Thank you for having us today. With me, I'd like to recognize that we also have our board treasurer, Michael Krebs, and our vice president, Michael Alvarez. Thank you very much for being here. So when we asked for entries, we limited to Tulare County residents. We asked for a 1/12 scale maquette until we realized that would mean that it was a 6-foot sample. So we asked for a 24-inch scale maquette, and that worked out better. And thank you for that, Jessica. We wanted the art piece to incorporate the pond's history, the elements to honor Tulare County as a whole, and we wanted it to kind of also at the same time hold true to the idea of a koi pond and the Mooney Grove history there. We wanted to make sure it was light fast. If it was color, if there were any color, we wanted to make sure it lasted a long time, that the materials were resistant, and that there weren't any sharp edges or anything that would cause any harmful situations. Family and community friendly. Then our first entry was by Antonio Cuellar, who's a renowned ceramicist. He went to school in the Humboldt area, made a lot of really great connections with old masters. He is proposing this weather-resistant. It would be ceramic adaptations to the center column, which would, be icons of Visalia's history, including arrowheads, grapes, corn or maize, and this on this side, on the right-hand side, you can barely see it, but that's a shovel. And he's known for his really vibrant ceramic glazes and his finishes, and a lot of marbling, and just a lot of subtle tones that really kind of pop in the sun. It's very aesthetically pleasing, it's durable, and it's clean. Jerry Brace is our next entry. Jerry's is a very nice drought-tolerant xeriscape, she calls it. It would be a ground laid down, and it would open up the 4 sides to allow people to interact with the plant life inside, to peruse through it, walk around in it, and really make it a part of their environment, more or less than something that they'd go and look at. It retains the aesthetic of the parts with the drought-tolerant plants, and it adds this, this interactive atmosphere, which is really quite nice. She's a sculptor, and although she's our youngest entrant, she's got a lot of contacts with construction and contracting folks, so she's very confident that she could make her vision, realize her vision. Then we have a collaboration. We opened it up to groups in case people wanted to get together and work on this project as a group. We have Jessica Smith, Jenny Zeeb, and Robin Meist representing the Garden Street Art Studio. They are proposing a painted and mosaic imagery-based setup with the existing planters to actually include plants as well, and they would have a viewing deck. It would include a way to get in. This would be pretty easy to access for children and adults, and it's kind of hard to see, but the center part is a mosaic fountain, kind of again alluding to the history of that structure as a fountain. is, oh yes, and along the edges, again, you'll be able to see it better over here. They've got these sort of positive affirmation stones and sort of a community type, a sense of a group project. It's a real sense of a group project. Yeah, I believe that's it. Yeah, as far as their previous artwork, they actually also helped with this. The Garden Street Art Studio also helped with the Deer Creek mosaic there. I think that's.
Thank you, Ampelio. And we just wanted to say how happy and excited we've been to work on this project and partner with the Arts Consortium. They did a fantastic job promoting this project and getting some really good quality submittals in, and it was very difficult to choose. But on September the 4th, a selection committee came together, including board members, a Parks Advisory Committee member, and staff, who reviewed and judged the submissions for the project. And the committee was very impressed by the 3 creative proposals, and after thoughtful consideration, recommends the Mooney Grove Sculpture Project by Jessica Smith, Jenny Zeeb, Robin Meist from the Garden Street Art Studio, the one that's in the picture up here, to be selected as the winning design. And all 3 submissions are on the table up front here, so if anybody wants to take a look, you're welcome to come on up, and they look much better in person than they look in the pictures. So that being said, in conclusion, we're working with the Arts Consortium to finalize the contract details for the Lily Pond project, and we expect the project to be complete by June 2019, at which time we will host an event to unveil the piece. So our request items are that you receive a presentation on public art displays in conjunction with the Arts Consortium, recognize the top 3 artist proposals, and select the final Lily Pond Art Project design subject to approval of County Council of any agreements with the Art Consortium and the selected final artist. 3rd, approve the installation of the selected Lily Pond Art Project at Mooney Grove Park subject to approval of County Council of any agreements with the Arts Consortium and the selected final artist. And lastly, direct staff to proceed at county buildings and develop a public art policy. And please note there were some revisions made to the wording in request items 2 and 3 from the submitted agenda item to add language regarding approval by County Council of agreements. So I read those verbatim so they would be in the record. So that's all we have, and do you have any questions?
I don't have a question, I do have a comment. The other thing that, to speak with County Council, because there's some financial issues here that have to be worked out that are not really presented today, so what we can do is approve it going forward, subject to County Council's consent and approval, and then
Correct.
we can go forward today.
You got a comment from Supervisor Crocker?
Supervisor Crocker. I agree with the selection committee. That I think that last one really hits to what the historic use of that site was, but I think the other 2 were phenomenal as well. And so I would just encourage the Arts Consortium as well as staff to try and incorporate those other 2 designs with other sites within our county. I think that there's transferable, that those are transferable and not necessarily specific to that lily pond, that we can incorporate and utilize what's already been designed elsewhere. And I think that's would help with our beautification process and with providing additional arts. And I'd hate to see the work and effort of those artists go to waste, because I think those are also great designs.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
As it's funny that Supervisor Crocker mentioned that as a part of the selection committee, that was actually a conversation that we had had. We had actually talked about incorporating each of those projects within Mooney Grove Park itself as a showcase of public art. We thought that would be a great opportunity. I want to say thank you to each of the 3 artists that submitted. I think that's fantastic that we can go out and through collaboration with the Arts Consortium, seek a project for beautification, making use of a dilapidated structure within a county facility, and really have choices. I mean, we're very fortunate. You may not think of Tulare County as a booming art place, but it really is. I mean, the fact that we have local artists that could submit 3 proposals of this caliber, I think, says a lot about our county and a lot about the work that's being done by the Arts Consortium. So congratulations to you, and thank you to the artists for submitting. I think that was a great process. We were able to sit down and review each of the projects, see them up close, and for my colleagues, I'd encourage you to go down and take a look at the mock-ups that were created that weren't 1/24th of the size or 1/4, whatever or 1/12 that you found out. But I thought they turned out very, very well. I want to thank Supervisor-elect Valero for participating in the selection process. And I'm really happy about this, and I think that we have some real opportunity to continue to incorporate art throughout the county as we go forward into the future.
Okay. Do you want to check? You want to say something?
Supervisor Vanderpool pretty much summed it up.
Yeah, thank you to everybody that put that put the proposals in. They were all excellent. I did look at the art before the meeting and looked at it, and I think that one that's chosen will probably be probably the best one for right now. But the art could be used in other parks, not just Mooney. You know.
Well, and I was thinking not only parks, but also if you look at, like, for instance, Government Plaza, where we have a lot of space there. I mean, we have public facilities and buildings here on this site. We have a lot of places where we could incorporate public art. We have all the space out front of this building and between us and County Council's office. There's just a lot of different places.
White blank walls in the back and on the sides too that I think.
It looks pretty nice.
As somebody who has a white car, I'm surprised you would make that comment. Anyway,
Mr. Chairman, could I also mention that the artists are here in the audience today?
Could they please stand to be recognized? Yes, very good. Thank you. And while I certainly will not say anything negative about the selection, I will tell you I'm very fond of xeriscaping architect. You know, and I brought that up to Neil Pillegard. If you've been to the state park in Sacramento, the park at the Capitol is an exceptionally beautiful park. And one of the things they have done is this raised type of a structure to be able to focus on cactuses and different kind of things that you don't want people to get into, and it provides separation from people and these different types of plants, but it's very, very attractive a way of demonstrating and illustrating that. So I think there's some great opportunities it doesn't have to be cactus, it can be our local fauna, you know, that we have here that is drought resistant, that sort of thing. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for their participation as well. And I certainly fully agree with the idea of trying to incorporate more of these in different sites. So at this time, I would entertain a motion, and that would be with the modification and with subject to County Council's final approval.
Move.
Motion by Supervisor Crocker, seconded by Supervisor Ennis. Please cast your votes, and the votes are unanimous.
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate all the hard work, and thanks to the subcommittee as well. All right, we'll take up item 26, a request from the General Services Agency to approve personnel resolution amending the position allocation listing class, title, and salary band.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I know we've had all three this morning, so this is a quick item to make some changes to the purchasing agent position and begin the recruitment process. So retitle the position to purchasing manager. It's currently classified as an assistant department head, change that to a division manager, and change the salary band, plus some educational updates. The position was recently vacated about a month ago, so good opportunity to make some changes, as it's been many, many years since any edits have been made to that description. So I want to thank HHSA for lending us an employee that we can utilize for the time being to help us see this transition through. Cher Castellini, she's doing a great job. And as well, thank you to HR and council for their assistance bringing us to this point so quickly. So with that, happy to answer any questions or provide any information.
If not, entertain a motion.
Thank you for that clear, concise agenda item presentation. I move
Absolutely.
Motion by Supervisor Vanderpool, seconded by Supervisor Shuckman. Please cast your votes, and the votes are unanimous. John, I won't be able to be there at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I've got to be someplace else, but you did give me the tour the other day, and your facilities look great, although I saw a little bit of landscaping got done out front.
That's right. I'll eat your cookies for you then. I'll eat the...
all right. You can save me if there's oatmeal raisin, you can save me. All right. That concludes our public portion of our meeting today. We have reason for a closed session, Council.
Yes, we have items A through I with the exception of D, which is off calendar, and I do expect an announcement out.
Very good. Thank you.
Veronica, could you
Amy Myers, Deputy County Counsel 5, reporting out on closed session item C. The Board of Supervisors authorized the defense of individually named defendants with a reservation of rights in the case of Langley versus Deputy E. Garcia et al. In the United States District Court, Eastern District of California, case 116 CV 01299 JLT. The adverse party is Randy Langley. The case involves violation of civil rights. The motion was made by Supervisor Ennis, second by Supervisor Crocker. All in favor. This concludes the reporting for item C.
This is Diana Mendez, Deputy County Counsel 5, reporting out on item G. The Board of Supervisors authorized legal counsel to enter a case as an amicus curiae. The case is United States of America versus State of California, case number 2:18-CV-00490-JAM-KJN. The adverse parties are the State of California, Edmund Gerald Brown Jr., and Javier Becerra in their official capacities. This case involves a challenge to the validity of recently passed California statutes regarding immigration enforcement and a request to enter a case as an amicus curiae with the Immigration Reform Law Institute. On a motion by Supervisor Crocker, seconded by Supervisor Vanderpool, the roll call vote was 5-0 to join in the amicus curiae. This concludes the reporting out for today.